Today, we have our top 10 hot takes of the NFL season. The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Today, as I mentioned before, we got not one, not two, but 10 hot takes before the 2025 season. Actually, we are kicking off tonight here in about 1 hour. I'm here with my co-host, MetroSports Metro. How are you doing today, sir? Are you ready for football to be back officially?
Oh, yes. I am 100% excited. We are each going to do 5 hot takes, so Cade has his 5, I have my 5, and then at the very end, you guys can decide which hot takes were better. I'm going to let Cade kick this one off with his first hot take. Give me something kind of light here, and then we'll build up to the hottest one towards the end.
Something light? Okay, I was going to give you the hottest one to start, but we'll save that for later. One more thing we're going to save for later. At the very end, I'm going to give Metro 10 rapid hot takes. I'll have 10 seconds to answer each one. It'll be in the chapters below, but let's get this started. With my first hot take on the day, where should we start? I'm going to give you this, because this is reasonable, okay? Maybe not, which is based on history, but here we go. My first hot take of the day. God gives us a Texans and Chargers AFC championship. Ooh. When you look at a team like the Texans, I think that defense is top 5 without a doubt. They got a certified no-fly zone, some great edge rushers off the edge, of course. And then the Chargers. Who has it better than us? Jim Harbaugh is assembling a super team, the Avengers, with Herbert and that awesome running back core. The wide receiver core should figure itself out with an awesome stud in Ladd McConkey and hopefully some more weapons on the way. I think this is more realistic than most people think, but it hasn't been done in a long time or ever, so give me that as my hot take number 1 to start. Metro, what are your initial thoughts?
Texans, Chargers, for starters. Would love that. That'd be an awesome game. AFC Championship game to be honest with you, it'd be a little disappointing. I'd be like, damn, where's the Baltimore? Where's the Buffalo? Where's Kansas City at? Where are these goated squads? Sorry, Texans fans and Chargers fans. You guys will be good next year. Look, is it going to happen? Probably not. I could definitely see it being a matchup, though, in the playoffs. Could you imagine, like, wild card weekend? You got Texans, Chargers. You got Chiefs versus Bengals. You got Bills versus who else? The Denver Broncos. Like, that could be a realistic playoff scenario. Who do you think wins between Houston and LA? Put you on the spot.
Damn, it's a fantastic question.
It's like picking between your kids. You like both those teams.
Picking between your children, he says. I would lean the Chargers. Ooh. Just because I think they're more well-rounded and play together better as a unit. But, man, it's hard. Like, I'm picking at straws here. What would you say, though, Metro? Who would win that game in your eyes?
Well, if the Texans were to make the AFC Championship game, I would assume their offensive line figured its crap out. Because if not, I don't know how they got there. So, with that said, I trust the Texans defense quite a bit. I love Stroud. I think Stroud could have a big year. The receiving core could be nasty. It just kind of comes down to that offensive line and play calling. But if they make it to the AFC Championship game, then I'm sure that stuff got straightened out. So I would probably pick the Texans. But if Herbert made it to the AFC Championship game, that would do wonders for his resume. For all the questions that are about him and his playoff success, you can toss those out the door. If that man makes the AFC Championship game above Buffalo, above Kansas City, above Baltimore, again, Buffalo. Baltimore and Buffalo are like the two names that always confuse me. Those two names are just too damn similar, and they're too damn good. Let's get rid of one.
Too damn good.
Let's change Buffalo to wasn't Buffalo, didn't they used to be the Kansas City?
Did they really? Let me look this up.
I don't know. Regardless, though, Houston has a good chance of making it pretty far next year. So does LA. I think this one's actually not like terribly unrealistic. Wouldn't be my personal bet, though.
I kept it pretty soft, or I guess cold, to start this off. They used to be called the Bisons. So let me look up what the Chiefs' old spot. But, Metro, while I look up this for my personal records, I want you to tell me your first overall hot take. Not first overall as in the hottest, but your way to start this off.
Okay. My first one is I believe Trevor Lawrence will be a top 15 quarterback by end of year.
Ooh, top 15. So
top 15.
So for the people that are slow out there, aka including me, what is that looking like to be better than? Are you saying he's got to be better than a Tua or better than, call it, What's a good quarterback at 15 you'd like to replace instead of him?
Brock Purdy.
Ooh, that's a
He's
great one.
He's got to be better than Brock Purdy in order to be top 15. And I think there's actually a really good path here. New offensive coordinator or new head coach in Liam Cohen, who's also going to be a play caller, who did a lot of great things last year in Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield. You get Travis Hunter. You get some new, running backs. We'll see if that kind of works out with ETN or if it's Bigsby or if it's somebody else. You got some additions to the offensive line. Trevor Lawrence just got paid. He's in for, honestly, I don't want to say a make or break year because he's already made it. Dude made like $240 million, so he's already made it in life. But, if you want to prove to be the guy in Jacksonville, this year has to kind of be the year. The AFC South is fairly open. I mean, Houston probably is going to win it, but that second place spot is completely up for grabs. And if you get second place, you might end up in a wild card spot. And, for Trevor, I don't really think there's too many excuses to have a bad year. Like, I honestly expect him to be in the top 20 conversation, but he has to enter top 15 to live up to that contract. And, I think he'd have to pass a Brock Purdy. He'd have to pass, every quarterback who's younger than him, essentially, like, a Penix, a Caleb, a JJ, probably not Jaden. He's probably top 5 already. I think if he can be around that same level of a Dak Prescott, that would be pretty impressive. So, I think top 15. I don't think top 10, though. I think somewhere between 15 to 11 is where I think he'll be by the end of the season.
I like how you said it's not what I'm projecting, it's what is expected of Trevor Lawrence, because he did get that massive contract, right? And if you don't bring the juice to the table, because they brought the money to the table, then what are we doing here, Jacksonville? We got to have our guys score some points and win us some games. And the excuses are getting thinner and thinner year after year. You got a new head coach who's going to be very good for the offense. You have so many weapons that are elite. I mean, fantastic first-round talent weapons. Some are called generational weapons. I'm looking forward to it. I actually really like the hot take, and I think it should be expected as well.
I agree. I mean, when you get paid as much as he's getting paid, the expectation is to enter into those conversations. You don't see bottom 10 quarterbacks getting paid. How much is he getting paid? $50-ish million a year? Let me see his contract.
Stupid. You look that up. Oh, man. Who has the better season? Because are you a Bryce guy?
Ooh, I am a Bryce. By the way, he's the 6th highest paid quarterback this year. $55 million. He's
God.
It's kind of interesting, and I don't want to disrespect any of these quarterbacks. When you look at like the top 10 quarterbacks in terms of contracts, some of these names are kind of crazy.
Go down the list, please.
Dak is still by far the highest paid quarterback, and I'm a Dak Prescott guy, but my God, $5 million more than Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. Jordan Love, who has had, 2 starting years, and, last year wasn't incredible, but he's making as much as Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. Lawrence is making the same as Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. Tua is making $53 million. Jared Goff is making $53. Purdy $53. And then you got Herbert $52. It's like, Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback in the league, is making $15 million less than Dak Prescott.
Question. Do you think it's because, maybe this is me being too optimistic on the human race as a whole, that these great quarterbacks know they're damn good and they know they're going to get their bag? So instead of saying, hey, I want $70 million a year and losing, right, because you're not assembling a team that way in NFL in the modern game, they decide, hey, I will take less than Trevor Lawrence. I will take less than Dak Prescott. And yeah, you're still going to pay me nicely. Don't get me wrong. But instead of insane money, I want teammates. And they think of it that way. Maybe that's why Joe Burrow takes that kind of contract where you're like, but he's still getting paid nicely. Don't get me wrong. But he's less than Dak, and same with Josh Allen. Just a thought there. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that could be the argument. I also just think some of these quarterbacks that are getting underpaid, the team was smart to pay them when they did. Mahomes got paid 2 or 3 years ago, and they gave him like a 10-year deal, which you never see. Hurts was paid like 2 years ago. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow just got paid. I think those guys you could probably put in the conversation of they took a bit of a discount because they could have argued for $60+ million. The tough thing is when you get to these quarterback markets of like a Dak, a Trevor, a Tua, a Kyler, they really kind of stranglehold the front office because it's like, what are you going to do if you don't have that guy? Like, you're going to be a terrible team, especially when you are a Cowboys who have all this talent in their prime. You have to have your prime quarterback. You cannot afford to go out there and draft a quarterback right now. Same for the Cardinals. Same for Miami and even Jacksonville to an extent. So it's interesting. I think it's a bad trend, frankly, that I think NFL GMs need to kind of put their foot down and say, look, you're a good quarterback, but you're not in the same market as Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. But then I guess in the other quarterback's defense, it's like, okay, if I am a Bryce Young who's going to get a contract soon, if I have a good year next year and I play as good as Tua, I want to make Tua Tagovailoa money, which means I'm a top 5 paid quarterback in the league. So it's a weird thing. Quarterback contracts, I think, are, I hope that eventually we can get to a spot where we figure out how to properly do it. But for now, it's you have Trevor Lawrence and Tua, 5th and 6th highest paid quarterbacks. And I hate to break it to you, they ain't even close to that spot in terms of power rankings. Not even close.
You're not wrong. Let's put ourselves in their shoes for like 1 minute here before we move forward. Imagine you're Kyler Murray, okay, in the contract. What'd you say?
I'm taking the bag. Pay me $60 million.
Exactly. Let's say you're Kyler Murray. You're playing some Call of Duty, supposedly, and you have this GM who's like, listen, Junior, you're not watching film. You're kind of mid, blase, and you just zone out, and you're like, listen, I can outweight you, GM, because you're getting fired, and so is the head coach. He's already on his way to getting fired, and I'm going to get paid regardless. So that's kind of where they have all the leverage in this shit, man, and that's why they get the bag.
Yes, they have all the leverage. If they threaten to leave, what is the team going to do? They have no team has a backup option. Like even Dallas, you're like, oh, we have Joe Milton. Guys, Joe Milton's played like 1 game. That's not a backup option, dude. That's not an option. Like you have to pay the guy as much money as he's requesting. And if Dak is saying, hey, I'm not going to play unless you pay me $60 million, you have to pay him $60 million. That's just what you have to do.
The only case, one more thing, the only case we have of it really working out, you had our man, not our man, why am I saying our man? You had Deshaun Watson request a ton of money. And
definitely not our man.
Definitely not our man. That dude sucks. He sucks balls. Deshaun Watson, evil man, he requested a bag, and Texans were like, hey, no, we're not doing that. And they actually put their foot down, and the shit's worked out for them. But that's pretty rare, but it's kind of cool to see it work out every once in a while. Anything else you got on this awesome hot take? I'm actually going to have you snake it, too, for your next one.
Okay. My last thing I want to say here, I think the future of quarterback contracts is you're going to see teams hand out 7+ year deals. I think you're going to see them front load the contracts, and then by the time the deal gets to his 6th or 7th year, if it's if it hasn't worked out, you're paying them probably less. So I think you're going to see a lot of upfront guaranteed money, but longer tenure deals. So that by the time you get to that 3rd or 4th year, the quarterback market is already reset, right? So when Mahomes got that massive deal, everyone was freaking out, like, why are you paying Mahomes for 10 years? He could tear his ACL next year. He hasn't done it. Contract looks pretty darn good. So I think you're going to see a lot more teams do it. I think Josh signed, what did he sign? I think his was like a 6 or 7 year deal. So I think you're going to see more teams go down that boat in terms of, paying their quarterbacks longer than 4 or 5 year deals. I think it should be, 6+ years to me should be the minimum, especially if you have one of those dudes. Like if I was Cincinnati, I know Burrow just got paid, but I would have gotten Burrow like a 10-year deal and called it a day.
Call it an absolute day, bro. Are you even watching quarterback? Last thing, I'll stop you.
No, I there's a couple of things I want to watch. I want to watch quarterback. Has Hard Knocks came on yet?
It comes out next Tuesday, so you better get ready.
I got to watch Hard Knocks. And then this is not even close to NFL. WWE has their thing called Unreal, and I've been meaning to watch it. So there's so many things I got to watch, but I know. I need to watch it. Is it good? Have you seen it?
Yeah, quarterback's been fun. It's him, Goff, and Kirk. And you get to see Kirk go through some shit and also talk about great clips. I'm enjoying it, but I enjoy anything with a helmet and a ball in it, so I'm good to go.
Hell yeah. All right. My second hot take. Okay, which one?
Which one's second spiciest, or not second least spicy? There we go.
I think this one actually might be a little bit of my spicier take, but I'll just go ahead. I'm going to go down the board here. All right. The Chicago Bears are going to disappoint, but they will show promise late in the season. So I know there's been a lot of talk about training camp and Ben Johnson's struggles so far with Caleb Williams. I'm not buying into any of that crap. I don't care. Training camp to me is so useless. You hear all these numbers. Oh, Jared Goff threw 15 picks in camp. I'm like, all right, cool. That's good. It means we have a good defense. Like, Goff's going to be fine. I literally, unless it's an injury or it's like, he's just that bad, I'm not worried about camp. So I'm not worried about that stuff. For me, I do buy into the fact, though, of Ben Johnson's system being a really weird fit with Caleb Williams. And I've been saying, Cade can back me up here. I've been saying this for a while. I think the system is just a timing-based system where you have to anticipate throws. You cannot do the stuff that Caleb has done throughout his college and probably even high school career. The style of I'm going to be Superman, I'm going to make plays. That's really not a Ben Johnson thing, at least not that we've seen so far. So I do believe, despite all the talent that is in Chicago, that there will be some early struggles on that offense. And unfortunately, the team did not address running back in a serious way. So I worry that if the passing game is not as dominant as it should be, especially, in the first half of the year, you don't have a consistent ground game to rely upon. Even if you have a good offensive line, I don't think DeAndre Swift is the type of dude to, carry the rock, 20 plus times, even when you need him to. I just don't think he can do that. So because you have this ground game that I don't really think is, good for what they're going to be trying to do early, which is establish the run, I could see some early season struggles. Now, I say in the second half of that, I think they show promise late. I think what you'll see is weeks 1 through 8 or whatever their bye week is, the team's not going to be, as dominant as you think they should be. They might be, let's say it's a week 9 bye week, they might be 3-8, or 3-5, or 4-4. But then late in the season, I think they might be, above 500, pushing for a playoff spot. So I say they'll disappoint in terms of they won't make the playoffs, and I think they won't be too close to winning the NFC North, but they will show enough promise late in the season to feel really good about year 3 Caleb, year 2 Ben Johnson, and going into 2026, they'll feel a lot better. So that's my hot take. What do you think, Cade?
Honestly, I think it's really accurate, and that's my favorite hot take I've heard today. I know we've only heard 3, but I think that's my favorite by far. The question will be, can Ben Johnson as a head coach, because that's a completely different role than a no coordinator, not just calling plays now, the morale of the team and the locker room when you're going through some hard shit relies on you. Like if you watch Hard Knocks last year, Kevin Stefanski was pulling every trick out of his ass to make the team not want to die because they kept losing game after game, and he's trying to keep the morale up. He knows his job's getting kind of hot too. That's not easy, man. It is not easy to be the same guy every single day, day in and day out. So that'll be the challenge, like you said. So hopefully by week 10, when they start to click and Caleb has the light bulb go off, everyone's still on board, and DJ Moore's not running a seam route and then going straight to the sideline because he doesn't feel like it anymore.
Yeah, he claimed it was an injury. DJ, no one's buying that, bro.
No,
you just didn't want to finish the route. You might have been hurt, but come on, dog. That honestly, like, it kind of ticked me off a little bit. I'm surprised that we didn't hear more about that. It kind of lived for like a day and then nobody talked about it. And I'm just like, hey, that's crazy. You just shouldn't do that. That and the Anthony Richardson thing where he just came off the field right after like tapping out, that was crazy. Like, dog, you're the quarterback of the football team. You don't do that. And that's like basic stuff.
Never seen that shit in my life, and I mean it.
I know.
And everyone makes mistakes, and I'm sure in hindsight he's like, man, I'm kind of a dumbass. But like that was bad, dog. But it is what it is. Hopefully it comes out this year and proves us all wrong. I like the hot take. Anything else you got, Metro, before I start yapping?
No, Bears fans, I think it'll be a good end to the year, but just be prepared for some early season struggles.
Put on the gas mask because you're going into some smoke, Bear fans. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. Hopefully by December, it's getting hot. Let's go to my second hot take, speaking of hot. And this one's a tad more spicier, but it's more realistic than you think when we talk about it. Here we go. Number 2, my hot take, we have Dak Prescott finishes with more touchdowns than Jaden Daniels, his in-division rival, and wins a playoff game. A lot to unpack here. Ooh. Dak Prescott, while he's not the postseason gladiator, this guy is an absolute demon in the regular season. You looked at 2021, he had a fantastic season with, I think 39 touchdowns. And then you go to 2024, he had about 35 of those bad boys. Jaden Daniels last year had 25 plus some rushing upside for sure as well. But he's done it before. I think with Pickens now, he's got the weapons to do it again. Why would this not happen? Let's say the rushing attack is hot ass. That's a big reason for this happening. This O-line doesn't take a step up. That's a reason for this to not happen. But winning a playoff game, that's the kicker. Because the first part of that was too boring for me. If they got like individual, maybe they play the Commanders. I think that's a game they could win. But the Cowboys have enough power to make the dance, and Dak has enough power in the regular season to show off that ability. Metro, you're a Cowboys fan. What's your hot take or thoughts on this hot take?
It kind of lines up with my hot take. Should I give my hot take too, since it's kind of like
Might as well. Go
my
ahead.
hot take for Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott's top 10. That's my hot take.
This dude, I'm kidding. I just said the same shit.
That's my hot take. So your hot take was he would have more touchdowns. Are we talking combined touchdowns or just passing touchdowns?
Rushing and passing.
Okay, if we're combining them, then I think that's pretty realistic. Jaden did have 6 rushing touchdowns last year, so we combined for 31. For reference, in 2023, Dak had 36. In 2021, 37. He has had some injury years the past couple years. 2022, I don't remember the injury, but he had an injury there. 2024 had the hamstring. 2020, the broken or dislocated leg or something like that, or ankle. So has been dealing with injuries, so hopefully a bit of a bounce back year for Dak. But he has, when he's been healthy these past several years, has been able to get the number above 35, 36. And I think it's, for the most part, pretty realistic. I don't really know if Daniels will be a high-volume touchdown guy. You know, like Baker had almost 40 touchdowns last year. I don't know if I quite expect that from Jaden. I think Jaden will rack up some good statistics, and I think they will put up some great numbers. But I don't really think he's going to be somebody that you look in the box score, he's going to have 40 touchdowns. You know, he might have it here and there, like a season or so, but maybe not too often. For my hot take, I have it said that Dak Prescott's the top 10 quarterback. I just think for Dak, look, I love Dak Prescott. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm always going to be a little bit, maybe a little bit biased. I might shove a little bias in there, but I'm going to try to be a little bit as unbiased as I physically can here. When I look at the quarterbacks in the NFL, I'm looking at, okay, who do I consider to be a top 10 quarterback? And I think the top 5 are pretty secure. You know who they are: Lamar, Josh, Mahomes, Burrow. Who else would be in that top 5? Stafford probably would be there. Maybe Hurts.
Yeah, Stafford. You could argue Daniels.
Stafford. Yeah, Daniels would be there too. I think
So
I would put Hurts over Dak right now, just because Hurts had such a great year last year. And so, I mean, outside of that, then you're like, okay, is Baker Mayfield better than Dak? Maybe. It was one good year last year. I think you can make the argument. Is Goff better than Dak? Maybe, maybe not. Herbert, probably better than Dak. So I think right there you have maybe 7 guys who you're like, those dudes are better than Dak Prescott. And then you have like a big, bubble of the Strouds, the Goffs, the Daks, the Loves, Baker, and so on and so forth, that you can have the arguments with Dak Prescott on who's better. And I just personally say, like, when Dak Prescott's healthy, there's not very many quarterbacks that are better than him. We fall into this world where we're like, we forget that he got injured last year. Like, he missed basically the entire season. He only played in 8 games and was out in one of those. In the past couple of years, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But when he has been healthy, this dude has been a top 10 quarterback pretty consistently. It's just one of those things where, what have you done for me lately is sort of the conversation. So for that, I think Dak Prescott can be top 10 in 2025. And for your hot take, I do agree that Dak Prescott easily probably could have more touchdowns. Now, the question is, postseason success? I don't know. I'm a Cowboys fan. I've been burned by it many times. I'm hoping. That's for sure. I'm definitely hoping.
You'd have to have like you'd have to have like the Panthers be like, here we go. We're ready. No, I'm kidding. Not trying to be mean, but I think y'all could do it, honestly. Y'all got a good play caller now on defense. Dak likes to tear it up in the middle of the season. He's got a weapon now. It's there. It's hot, but it's possible, right?
I hope so. As a Cowboys fan, I hope this hot take comes true.
Do you want to snake it?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Do you want me to bounce it back?
Bounce that shit back, Metro. Pause. Let's get it going.
You don't have to pause that. That was okay. All right. My hot take, and this is probably the least hot take that I have, so I guess I probably should have saved this one for the beginning, but it is what it is. So my hot take, somebody new is going to win the AFC West in the next 2 years. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are, probably the favorites to win it yet again. But I think Denver is right there. They are knocking at the door. I think LA is right there. They're knocking at the door. And if you give the Raiders 1 to 2 more productive off seasons of adding pieces to their roster, I think they could be knocking on the door too. Whereas you look at the Chiefs, let's be honest, the Chiefs are getting a little bit worse, right? They just are. You lose your safety, you lose your left guard. Yes, you replace them with some talented guys like a Jalen Moore and a Josh Simmons, but are they going to be better than all-pro Joe Thuney? I don't think so. Will Hicks be as good as Pro Bowler Justin Reed? I mean, maybe, but probably not. So you're losing pieces slowly but surely. You have locked down your big guys, your Nick Boltons, your George Karlaftis, your Mahomes, but you have to replace those older dudes who are leaving. Chris Jones, he's a little bit older now. Chris Jones I think he's in his mid-30s now.
Yeah, bro's an unk for sure.
Yeah, he's 31 years old. He'll be good for another 2-3 years, but how good will he be? Andy Reid is, let's be honest, probably within the next 2-3 years is probably retiring. Kelsey might be done after this year. I don't love their running backs on paper right now. Pacheco's coming off a major injury, did not look good last year. Hunt is, Kareem Hunt. He's not 2017 Kareem Hunt. And then you bring in Brashard Smith, but he's a late round pick for a reason. So I still believe Kansas City, as long as you have Mahomes, you have Reed, you have these dudes, you'll be fine. But I think there's starting to become more questions than what has been in the past for Kansas City. Whereas you look at Denver, I mean, hey, if Bo Nix does take that step forward this year, they easily could win the division. They have an incredible defense, an incredible play caller, a good quarterback, some good weapons, some new weapons in the running back room, a great offensive line. Chargers, kind of the same story. Great quarterback, great defense, great play callers, great coaches. Maybe there might be missing a guy next to McConkey, but maybe Trey Harris could be that guy. And, Raiders got Brock Bowers and Genty, and good luck stopping that duo. So I think there will be somebody new either this year or next year that wins the AFC West, and I would not be shocked if it happened this year.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm kind of a heavy-set man, Mr. Metro. I'm kind of a fatty. When I go home for the holidays, stick with me. When I go home for the holidays, I always buy a big old gallon of chocolate milk. And I'm talking promised land. This thing is not good for me, and I know it. But it's milk. And it eventually goes bad, but it is a thing of beauty. That milk is fantastic for about 10 days. And eventually you're like, is it good? It's almost New Year's now. Can I still drink this? That's what I feel about the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like these guys got all the juice, but it's starting to expire just because of age, and eventually everybody becomes old. Father Time always wins. So I love your breakdown. I think it is the perfect blend of hot and cold. While we're saying that's not a hot take at times, guys, the Chiefs do nothing but win. So that's kind of a hot take to begin with. But I do love how you're calling out that the Denver Broncos and the LA Chargers are for sure knocking on the door. Then hell, maybe even the Raiders. Pete Carroll figures this thing out with a decent quarterback. Watch the hell out. I like it, Metro. I like it a lot.
I have a question. Do you think when Andy Reid retires, whether it's this year, next year, or the year after, do you think that's Steve Spagnuolo's job, the defensive coordinator? I think it feels like it probably is.
Yeah, it's got to be. He's stuck around, and that defense has become what makes it go. It's going to be a weird culture shift, though, right? Because they're going from, hey, be yourself, play freely. And I'm sure he's going to adopt that too, but also defensive guys in history, they're more locked down. They're more strict. It is black and white. There's no gray area. Where you get like a Mike McDaniel, he's wearing like joggers, and he's like, yeah, fuck it. Y'all can be like 5 minutes late. It's all good. Tyreek, you want to leave? Yeah, you're just joshing, bro. I'll see you in September. It's a
vaping
different
on the
atmosphere.
sideline.
Yeah. So it's a good question. What about you? What do you think?
He is older. He's 65 as well. So I think he probably would be the favorite to win the job. And it would be interesting for sure, because you're going to lose that offensive mastermind that has just been so dominant on fourth downs and in the fourth quarter, especially in the playoffs, that when you are losing that guy and now you're going to a more defensive oriented roster, I mean, we've seen it in the past where it can not work out. Look at Dennis Allen replacing Sean Payton with New Orleans. Now, New Orleans wasn't as talented, but you get my point. So, I mean, Steve Spagnuolo would do a good job, but he's no Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid's one of the GOATs. So,
I like to say dumb things on here to entertain myself and you and the audience. I think Brian Dibble is a fantastic coach, and I don't think he should lose his job. But based off the schedule, there's a good chance he does, okay? Is there a chance in 3 years after he bounces around that he gets the hire for this job? Because I think he's a damn genius, man. I think he's a really good coach, and that's offense to offense, and I think he could uplift that culture still.
I think
Super hot take.
That is interesting. That's a prediction. I think for that to happen, he would have to be hired on as an assistant coach for them, maybe a quarterback's coach or an offensive assistant coach, something along those lines. And he'd have to work his way up from assistant or positional to OC and then back up to head coach with the Chiefs, which is possible. I mean, I agree with you. I think he's a good offensive mind, but it's going to be difficult. You know, he's got to pass. He's got to have to fix his reputation after this stint here with the Giants if they can't get it turned around. So, yeah, I'm going to let you go ahead and do your hot take. Do you have 2 more left?
I got 3. We got number 3,
Okay.
4, and 5. For my third hot take, and you're probably sick of hearing his name, but guys, the Unction, it's fun to watch. It's entertaining.
Ooh.
Don't tell me you're not turning him on Sunday Night Football. Here we go. My third hot take, we have Aaron Rodgers will be the one to win the Steelers their first playoff game since 2017. Metro, I mean, I could ramble about this. I think they got DK Metcalf. I think this team is always competitive as shit. And now that you have a quarterback that hopefully, if he's staying on 2 legs every single play, can throw the football just good enough to win you some games. I know he's got more juice than Russell Wilson did. If you've watched Russell Wilson play, right now in his game, he's got the deep ball down the sideline or a 5-yard stick route. There is no medium driving the ball. He can't throw out routes like he once upon a time could in his prime. Rodgers still has some juice in that cannon. I think that'll open up the offense for this team. But Metro, how crazy is that? What are your thoughts?
It's not crazy at all. I could definitely see it if you get the right matchup. If Pittsburgh goes in there and faces a Buffalo, a Baltimore, or a Kansas City, probably going to be tough. I think they can maybe compete with Buffalo. They can compete with Houston for sure. I don't mind it, though. I mean, look, the Steelers team has been damn close for years. Their issue has been they have not had a Ben Roethlisberger since Ben Roethlisberger. They've had Pickett, trash. Justin Fields, trash. Mason Rudolph, terrible. Russell Wilson, he was good for a few weeks, but then he became trash. I mean, you know, and while I have some concerns, like a lot of concerns with the offense for Pittsburgh, one thing is for certain, Rodgers is the best quarterback they've had since prime Ben Roethlisberger. That defense will be good next year. I think they have a really interesting secondary. Their front 7 should be dominant next year. My concern lies within the receiving core and the offensive line, but if they can figure out a wide receiver too, maybe with Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson, and if the offensive line can perform well, specifically on the tackles, then it can happen. I would not personally predict it to happen because I'm not a believer in the unction, but I wouldn't be surprised either. Like if you said, hey, Pittsburgh makes it to round 2, I'd be like, interesting, good to know. I wouldn't be shocked. You know what would shock me, though? If you said, hey, they make it to the AFC Championship game, I'd be like, whoa, something happened here. Something good happened here.
Who got hurt in the playoffs?
Yep.
Because that shit's not supposed to happen. And guys, every episode now around the 30-minute mark, we're going to ask a non-football question. If you comment in the comments and ask us, I'm going to ask Metro, and then I'll answer it too. Every episode on the 30-minute mark. But before we do that, wow, Metro and I love making content for y'all on this fantastic channel, First and 10. We also make our own content. MetroSports, look at him. He's beautiful. He's got his own channel on NFL analysis in the description down below. Go check it out and subscribe. If you want to change of pace for some more NFL draft content, I'm your guy at Cade Rathbone. Also in the description, subscribe down below. Thank you very much. Last thing, if you're enjoying the video, drop a like. The YouTube algorithm is a little bit slow, but if you like it, it makes it a little bit smarter. So thank you very much. Now it's time for the personal question of the day, Metro. And you don't know what this is, do you?
I do not know.
Today, I'm going to keep it light, okay? It'll eventually get more deep, and I'll have some sad shit here in a couple months when we're really in the depth of the NFL season. But for today, it's real light, real shallow. And the question is, if you could have any superpower, Metro, what would it be?
Any superpower, I'd want the brains of Mr. What's his name? The Reed Richards. I'd want the brains of Reed Richards. I want to be the smartest man on earth. Because here's the thing. In practical use, I have no use for stretchy arms. I have no use to be super strong. But you give me the biggest brain, I'm making billions of dollars. I'm going to be the richest man. I'm solving climate problems. I'm solving asteroids coming to Earth. Like, I'm the most important man ever. I'm having a security guard at all times watching my head. Give me the IQ, man. Give me the IQ. What about you?
Can I propose something?
Okay.
What if you were smart as shit? Maybe not like the smartest man ever, but very smart, but also like an absolute badass, aka Tony Stark. Would you be willing to settle for Tony Stark?
See, Stark would be cool, but he gets arrogant, right? Richard doesn't really get as arrogant. And I like to think I'm not a really arrogant person, so I kind of want to keep that about myself. Plus, Stark is always dealing with relationship problems. You don't see Richards really having that issue. He's got a baddie at home, and he ain't doing nothing else. So I'm going to be with Reed here.
I love the breakdown. If I had to spit one out, I'd probably go with, I was going to go with Spider-Man, but I'll do something different. I feel like it's not a power, though. I think it'd be sick to be Batman. Bro, are you kidding me? Just loaded. And, oh, yeah.
No.
Are you kidding? Yeah,
No.
hell yeah.
Bro.
Hear me out.
Are you taking on his villains? Joker, Bane.
Listen, it's going to be rough. I understand. But you go home.
You're rich.
Everything you could ever want. You're rich,
Yeah.
bro. You got a butler. Alfred's badass. Like, you can shoot the shit with Alfred all you want. And it's like, oh, somebody's causing ruckus in Arkham City. I put on the bat suit, Kevlar, and I simply just beat ass for people jaywalking. That sounds like a dream job for me to have. Listen, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But if I was going to be a fighter, that sounds like the place to be. So I would say Batman. Not really a superpower, but I think it's hard to beat.
You would have the aura, that's for sure. I would worry for you, though. I'd be like, hey, man, stay safe. You got Joker trying to come over. You got Scarecrow. I'd be most scared about Scarecrow. He injects you with some shit, dude. You're dreaming about the worst. Like, Batman has it terrible, dude. Those villains are brutal. And you're in Gotham. Like, there's crime every single day. I'm good.
It's like Southside Chicago mixed with, like, a circus. And I will say, like you mentioned, Batman has the worst villains. Like, by worst,
Dude.
I mean, like, the scariest, most diabolical dudes you could find on the planet.
It's literally not even close. Like, Spider-Man's got some tough ones, but most of the tough ones are like, they're like family friends that just went a little AWOL, right? Batman's got like murderers and psycho clowns. He's got an actual alligator that becomes like a human version, and he's tripping. He's trying to kill people. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, Spider-Man's got some tough ones too, and he's probably second for the worst, but I don't think it gets much worse than that. But the Batman's crazy. But the money is worth it. That's why I would pick, like, Tony Stark's got money. He ain't got that many villains.
You know what? Yeah, Tony Stark.
But Batman has the aura for sure. Like, you're literally walking around, lightning strikes behind you, and you have a shadow, and everyone's like, holy shit, it's fucking Batman. Like, you got aura. So I guess that might be a point for you.
Post it up. Yeah. Okay, cool. Fun. That was fun. Thanks for entertaining me, Metro. Let's move forward into, you've answered 3 hot takes, right?
I've done 4, so I'll let you do one more for you.
Cool. 4 of them, I'll give it back to you. Here's my 4th one, and it is probably the hottest. My last one was just kind of super fun. Here we go. Against all odds, the New York Giants make the playoffs. Now, I know what you're thinking. This guy's stupid. I'm unsubscribing and leaving. Fair. Completely fair. But this show is called Hot Takes, so I'm going to give you a hot take. This defense, the pass rushers, Kayvon Thibodeau. What's the man when they just drafted? I keep forgetting.
Carter.
What's his? Thank you. My God, I keep forgetting his name. Mr. Carter, fantastic. And Brian Birds, fresh off a year off the trade. Their third down package, their NASCAR package, might be the most disgusting in the NFL. They also have Sexy Dexy on the D-line. No big deal whatsoever. So if they can hold them the first and second down and have a manageable 3rd and 5 or 6, I see a lot of possession time for this offense. That's the key to this all happening. When you back it up a couple steps, hey, maybe Russell Wilson and Jameis, and of course, you know, Dart. I'm not saying Dart's going to be the change to make it happen, but talk about the happiest quarterback room in the league. Are you kidding me? Jameis Winston, never going to have a bad day. Best vibes in the entire country. And then Russell Wilson, his cringy ass is always going to be upbeat. You know that for sure. So I think this will be a very safe, wholesome environment where maybe a Dart could flourish. Or maybe Wilson has a good streak of games like he did last year. And when you're like, you know what? He's having a rough couple of games. Throw Dart in for 3 to put Russell Wilson back in. I'm just saying it's possible, and I think it starts with this defensive line. How dumb is
Yeah.
that, Metro? That's my hottest take.
It's not dumb. It's hot. It's definitely hot. And Giants fans are cheering their ass off. They're standing up like, thank you. Somebody finally said it. Look, they have one of the best defenses out there. I do worry, like, Deontay Banks needs to have a bounce-back year. If he has a bounce-back year, then, okay, we're cooking there on defense. Because they have the front seven, and I think they have some personnel in the secondary to be really good. You have Neighbors on offense, who's a complete game changer. If Wilson can just be average next year, or Dart, or Jameis, like, they could just be average, this team will have a chance. The obstacle they're going to have is that schedule is brutal, but if they can handle their business, get to about 10 wins, it's possible. I think their best course would be the 7th seed. I don't think they're winning the division. The Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders is going to be tough. But if they can get to that 7th seed, I think it's possible. Now, they would lose probably in the first round, but hey, moral victory. You got to the playoffs. And Dable's job would be safe for sure, by the way.
No question whatsoever. That's my 4th hot take, Metro. Do you only have one left?
I do. I have one left, and it's not my hottest hot take I think I've had today, but it's a pretty hot take.
Rip that shit off the Band-Aid, brother. Let me hear it.
All right, mine is very simple. Joe Burrow is going to win MVP in 2025. Yep. Look, I don't buy into training camp. This is his first time ever being healthy in training camp since his rookie season. Last year, he was incredible. It's simply put incredible. He finished, I think, 5th or 4th in MVP voting last year, primarily because his team, wasn't very good outside of Joe Burrow. And I think this year, if the Bengals can make the playoffs and Burrow has similar success as he did last year, he will be the favorite to win the MVP. He's going to have the numbers. He has the, everything you want off the field. Like Joe Burrow kind of has that vibe to him. And I think because Burrow has that it factor, it will definitely help him out. A lot of people want to see him win MVP. If that Bengals team has success next year, primarily with the defense just being a little bit better, with that offense, with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, I think they're going to be a really potent unit. And if that is the case, then I think, why not? Joe Burrow has similar numbers as last year. If that Bengals team last year made the playoffs, I think Joe Burrow should have won MVP, by the way. So if he could do that, make the playoffs, Shamar Stewart, Trey Hendrickson, you guys cook off the edge, why not?
I love what you said, by the way. I think this is totally possible. He was 4th last year, like you mentioned, very close to doing it. When you talk about racking up stats and patting the shit out of them, no better team to do it on than the Cincinnati Bengals. Their defense, kind of absent majority of the season, and it's probably going to repeat, especially if Trey Hendrickson cannot get that figured out. But yeah, I think Joe has got to make shit happen. This team loses or wins on his back. He'll live or die by the sword with Joe Burrow, and he's got the weapons to do it. So I love the hot take, Metro. No complaints from me. I'm a huge fan. Which one of your hot takes, before we go into mine, if you had to put money on a hot take out of one of your 5, which one are you doing it?
I would put money on either the Lawrence one or the AFC West. So either Trevor Lawrence is top 15 this year, or somebody not named Kansas City wins the AFC West this year or next year. So it'd probably be one of those two. But I think all 5 of mine have a pretty realistic chance of happening. Some more likely than others, but I think they all have a chance.
Very nice. Now, anything else got, Metro? You want me to yap?
Nope. Go ahead. And what's your last hot take here?
Yaptron 25,000. Here we go. It's my final hot take of the hot take day. My hot take is, I predict, this one's unique, I predict that the winners of these 2 Week 1 matchups will be in the Super Bowl game. What are those matchups? Let me tell you. Week 1, we have the Detroit Lions going to Green Bay to play the Packers. That is game 1 of going to be the NFC champion to be in the Super Bowl. And then game 2, I have the Kansas City Chiefs going to the Chargers' house, Los Angeles, to play them in their crib. I think the winner of that game goes to the big game. That's my bold prediction. Nothing crazy, but I do think it's kind of fun to where you could see how these teams shake out, because a lot of confidence is built in these Week 1 matches. It sets the tone for the whole season and how they carry themselves when the times are tough, when the times are good. It's so much better to start 1-0. Yes, you see stories of people coming back and teams coming back, but I believe those two will be vital. What do you think, Metro? Is that dumb? Is that making it too simple, or just rip it off? What do you think?
A Detroit/Green Bay versus Chargers Chiefs Super Bowl could be pretty fun. I think Detroit, Kansas City probably feels the most realistic, but I think Green Bay, they have a chance. They're an underdog. They have the dark horse nature to them. I think they could potentially get there, especially if Matthew Golden works out big time. And then for the Chargers, I'm high on the Chargers. I think they have a shot. That rushing game should be dominant. That offensive line should be good. Herbert has a lot to prove this year with a pretty solid defense. So, yeah, I think it's possible. Wouldn't be my personal bet, but it's possible for sure.
Metro says it's possible. That means it's going to happen. Now, guys, before we go through our 10 rapid-fire hot takes that I'm going to rip off for Metro, I want y'all to listen to our hot takes and vote which one you would prefer to happen in real life in the comments below. Now, which one do you think's more likely? Because that's the whole purpose of a hot take, to make it less likely. Not what's more likely or what's your favorite. I guess what is your favorite? What you would like to happen in the 2025 season. Metro, what are your 5 hot takes? What's the script for you this year?
Yeah, so my hot takes. First, Trevor Lawrence is a top 15 quarterback. Second is Chicago disappoints but shows promise late. Third, Dak Prescott becomes top 10 next year. Fourth, someone new wins the AFC West in the next 2 years. And fifth, Joe Burrow wins MVP.
Beautiful. My 5 right here. First, God gives the Texans and Chargers an AFC championship. 2, Dak Prescott finishes with more touchdowns than Jaden Daniels and wins a playoff game. 3rd, Aaron Rodgers brings the Steelers and the city of Pittsburgh their first playoff win since 2017. 4th, against all odds and that brutal schedule, the Giants make the playoffs. And then 5th and finally, the winners of these 2 games go to the Super Bowl, Detroit versus Green Bay and Kansas City versus the Chargers in Week 1. Metro, are you ready for our rapid fire hot takes? These are going to be crazy, man. I'm going to keep it a buck. I wrote each one of these. Some of them are dumb. Some of them are fun. Some of them are kind of realistic. And you got 10 seconds to answer each one. It could be a one-word answer, or you can give an explanation as fast as you can. But I may cut you off if you take too long. Are you ready to go?
Right.
Any questions? Any thoughts?
Let's go. I want a strict cutoff of 10 seconds. The second it hits 10 seconds, say, all right, done.
You got it, brother. Here we go. Rapid fire, hot takes. Start the timer. First question, or first hot take. Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler.
Not happening. Buddy would be happy to even make the field in an NFL game. Not happening.
Well said. Next we have the Philadelphia Eagles go 17-0.
It's possible. I wouldn't predict it to happen, but 17-0 is very possible. And if there was a team that I think could do it, it would be Philadelphia.
Third, we have Sean McVay retires after the season, a.k.a. assuming they win the whole thing.
If they win the whole thing and Matthew Stafford retires too, it could happen. I'd be very sad because he's a great coach, but it could definitely happen.
Fourth, Zach Wilson dates older women than Bill Belichick.
Did he just get married?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just know he liked moms at one point.
I know he likes moms. Belichick, I don't know. Belichick is an interesting character. Could happen for sure. For sure, likely.
Approved by Metro. On to the next one. Fifth, C.J. Stroud slumps into an 8-9 season.
Ooh, that'd be sad. I don't want that to happen. I like Stroud. I'd be a little emotional. Possible, not likely.
Next, we have the Rodgers and the Unction brings Pittsburgh a Super Bowl win.
No shot. No shot. Love you, Unction. Baltimore, Kansas City, a lot of the teams in the NFC, no shot.
Eighth, we have Jerry Jones actually doesn't pay Micah Parsons.
Oh, man, that would be a nightmare scenario. They got to pay the guy. He's the best player defensively, probably the best player on the roster, not named, I think, CeeDee Lamb. I think Micah's right there, though. You got to pay him. Just give him his money. $56, $60 million.
Off. You're done. You're done. You're done, buddy. No more talking. That was 7. This is 8. Here we go. The Bears win a playoff game in 2025.
Possible. I don't think it's going to happen, though, but it's possible.
Very nice. Sorry for yelling at you, Metro. You told me to. For 9, we have Bryce Young. Bryce Young becomes a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Oh, please. I need this. I need this to happen. I love Bryce. I thought he was a great quarterback coming out of the draft. I need this to happen. Still think Stroud's going to be better. I've been saying that since the draft. Cool. Yeah, I like it.
Approved. Final hot take of the rapid hot takes. The Cowboys win the NFC East.
It's going to happen. It is going to happen. One last thing I want to say about the Bryce Young thing. I think Tyler Huntley made a Pro Bowl like 2 years ago. So I think I can make a Pro Bowl at this situation, at this current situation. So Bryce making a Pro Bowl does not mean he's a great quarterback all of a sudden.
Metro, can I just say, you did a fantastic job. You took my yelling like a champ, but then also rapid fire, excellent analysis. Huge fan. Guys, this has been our video. Metro, you got anything else today?
Nope. Like we asked earlier, if you guys have a hot take that you guys want to happen, let us know in the comment section below. And yeah, stay tuned. We got more to come.
Very nice. As Metro mentioned, going forward into the season, we will be posting on YouTube. We'll send out little posts in our channel. We will ask for hot takes from you, like he mentioned. And you need to subscribe and put the comments in there because we'll use those in the actual show. Because, hey, we're kind of new right now. We don't have a ton, so we made these today. But going forward, we want your thoughts and your hot takes. Crazy as you want or cold as you want, we want them. Send them our way in the comments. Comment them here or in the next post. Thank you very much. Guys, if you enjoy these kind of episodes, drop a like because it helps you algorithm out tremendously. Thank you very much. And y'all are the best. We love y'all. Metro, get us out of here.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more hot takes. We want to hear your hot takes too. Love you guys. Peace out.